I'm Deboki, and this is Okie Dokie Boki, which is a thing I haven't really said in a while because I haven't made a video in a long time. I've done nonfiction book club live streams, but this is my first time filming a video in a while, and I'm doing it because I miss it. I miss making booktube videos. I miss reading, honestly. Basically, over the past few years, I guess, is like a quick update for anyone who didn't know. I feel like if you're one of the probably 5 people watching this video, you probably already know this, but who knows? I don't know what the algorithm does these days. But yeah, I was pregnant, I had a baby, and everyone else who has a baby, I have found my life dramatically changed. And part of that has been just figuring out when/how to read. And part of it is also just I feel like a lot of the books and a lot of the authors that are usually my go-tos just haven't been working for me. I just don't have the attention span, or they're just not hitting the right notes. Just something hasn't been working for me with reading. And so luckily Nicole and I have been doing nonfiction book club still for the past few years, and that has kept me reading. Honestly, I don't know how many books I would have read in the past few years if it weren't for that. I would be probably maybe at 2 books. But it's always fun to talk to Nicole and everyone who shows up for nonfiction book club, and I like the books that we read, even when we pick books that are total disasters. It's just fun to do that. It's fun to read in that setting. But I miss reading. I miss reading. I miss having books that I enjoy going through and experiencing the words as you do with reading. And so I am just trying to figure out some books. I'm trying to just force myself to sit down and get some books read, and obviously the best way to do that is to go to the library. One of the things I used to do on this channel quite frequently are library check-ins, where I would just go through what I've checked out from the library, what I've been reading, what I'm hoping to get from these books, why I check them out, just use the library for what it's for, which is to be this incredible resource for books. So I figured, why not, with this being my first time back on BookTube, why not just keep it easy, keep it simple? I'm gonna do a library check-in video. And so I have some books here and I'm gonna talk about them. So in terms of what I have from the library right now, it's a lot of fantasy, which is a little bit surprising. I guess it's not hugely surprising. It's not that I'm not a fantasy reader, but I'm definitely this is not a fantasy channel. I'm not out here reading all the super popular fantasy books. I know over the past few years, romantasy has become such a huge thing. That's an understatement. And I should be sort of the target audience for that. I love romance novels. I have read so many romance novels in my life, and I was a kid who liked fantasy growing up. I do feel like I should be the target audience, but I will be honest, I have found that a lot of the books that are very popular in romantasy world just haven't really worked for me. One of my favorite books of all time is something that you could claim to be a sort of precursor to romantasy, which is Kushiel's Dart, except that it is a very different kind of book in terms of the format, I guess, the structure and everything. I think of romantasy as having sort of a set of tropes, a set of structure, a sort of writing that Kushiel's Dart, I think has sort of inspired and set a lot of the blueprint for. I don't know, maybe not inspired, but it has a lot of ideas that you will then sometimes see in the romantasy world. But it does it in a way that I just enjoy more than I've found in the books that are currently popular. At the same time, I hate being someone who is not gonna try things. And so I have some fantasy books here. They're not all romantasy. I don't know why I got started on romantasy. Let's just get into these books, and you can tell me if you've read some of them, what you think about them, and we'll see where we go. So the first book is the book that I'm currently reading. You can tell because this is a pretzel bag that was on my nightstand. It's empty. There are not pretzels that I've crushed in here, but yeah, that's my bookmark, this empty pretzel bag. So this is The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. I picked this up from the library because I just saw it on the new book section and was intrigued. That was it. I was this is a whim that I will follow. But after I picked it up, I was on Threads, which I hate, but I will also find myself on. But this time it was kind of handy because Mari from My Name is Mari Nez, she had posted asking for book recs, and a lot of people recommended the poet Empress. And so I was like, oh, interesting. Like, I was both excited and also a little wary because, again, a lot of these like hyped fantasy books that are like really popular right now just don't always do it for me. And I don't mean that in a snobby way. It's just that I think what I like and what maybe a lot of people like are not always in alignment. And that's fine. That's just a thing that happens. The plot of the book is that we are following this 16-year-old girl named, let me get it right, make sure I get it right. It's Wei Yin. So she's from a village that's been starved, like they've been dealing with a famine. And she has basically entered into I don't know, selection process that has seen her become the Empress to be. Like, she is now engaged to this prince who is heir to the throne, and he is not a good person. He is horrifically violent. This book does have some scenes of abuse in it. I think the author aims to be cautious about not overdoing it. And that is like a part of the book that is just really horrifying, especially because you're like, it's happening to the 16-year-old girl who's been thrown into this court. But because she's in a court, there's also all of this political intrigue going on, and she herself has decided that she's going to try to kill him. Like, that is basically what we find out, like, from the summary, from the back of the book. And one of the systems of magic that basically is prominent in this book is writing. It's poetry. You can write these poems that create magic. But the challenge is that women in this kingdom are not allowed to read, can't write, so this magic is really restricted to men. But Wei Yin is determined to learn how to read in secret, even though she would be killed if anyone found out. The first third of this book, I really was just zipping through because I'm a sucker for that kind of courtly intrigue. And so I really enjoyed seeing all these dynamics play out of like her, these concubines, the men in the palace, the eunuchs, like everything is just really compelling. The second third of this book, at least so far, which is where I'm kind of roughly finishing up now, I found very frustrating. I feel like there are a lot of storytelling choices that just weren't finessed enough, and it's just a lot of info dumping, but in a way that I don't think was really elegantly done. Like, I think there were choices that could have been done differently. It's very draggy. It really kind of like gunks up the storytelling. It slows down the pace in a way that everything is supposed to be picking up, and suddenly I'm like in the middle of someone else's point of view, but not really. It doesn't really work for me. And the other thing is, I'll say that the world building and character building I find very like limited. I don't like when you're reading a fantasy book and it feels like the only world that exists is the world that exists at the moment on the page. Like, the other characters don't exist unless they're interacting with your main character, and like the rest of the world doesn't seem to exist unless it's within the main character's point of view. And I don't have like a better way of putting that. I don't have like a more concrete way to like explain what it is about this book that's not really hitting that for me, except that I feel like the characters are just not being vividly drawn enough, and the setting is not being vividly drawn enough to really make it feel like a whole world. And then when we get to the magic, like this world, like I said, is based on the idea of reading and writing, and that should be a thing that I love. Watching Wei Yin learn how to read and write should be like compelling, I think. Like, to me as a writer, like that's something that I'm really curious about, and how that plays into the system and like the plot itself. And you get a little bit of like her trying to figure out how to construct the magic that she needs to do, but I feel like it also is weirdly flat. Like, there's almost no effort. Like, what it feels like to me, and I don't know if this can make sense to anyone else, but it feels like you're watching someone try to like learn how to deadlift, but they're deadlifting like a paper clip. Like, there's no substance to the mechanics. There's no sense of heaviness. There's no sense of weight. There's just her deciding, I'm going to learn how to read, and then she learns how to read. And there's no sense of what that journey really looks like. And it should be a really significant one, but it doesn't really feel like it to me. I think right now this book feels like a solid like 3-star kind of book to me. Like, I have been enjoying reading it. When I sit down to read it, I race through it, but I don't know if this is going to end up being a book that I really love. maybe like if I reread it in a few years' time, it'll hit differently. But right now, it's a book that I am enjoying but not loving. Next up, I have The Isle in the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri, and I'm really excited for this. I haven't started reading this, but I have the audiobook for it. So it's been like in the queue for a while, and I've just heard such good things. So I know I said like, oh, you know, all these books that are super hyped, I don't know if they're for me, but this, and then here I am saying this is a book I've heard such good things about and I'm excited to read it. So I am full of contradictions, but that is my prerogative as a human being. But I'm excited for this. I think for me, it's like a very different premise than I've heard. There's a knight, there's a witch, there's an attempt to defy their fate, and it's sapphic. So all of those things, I'm like, sign me up, let's see how this is. And I remember I've read one Tasha Suri book. I didn't like love of it. It actually had the same issue that I kind of have with the poet Empress, where the world felt slightly small. Actually, maybe I've read two, and it was in her first series, and I'm completely blanking on the titles. And I thought the writing was really good. I thought the characters were really, really just, you know, going through stuff and written in a way that I really like was drawn into. But I just remember that the books never really fully landed for me because that world again just felt kind of small. And so, you know, there's a way in which maybe this will feel the same way. I'm curious about it. I think there's enough from those books that I really like was interested in that I want to like continue reading Tasha Suri, especially this book that a lot of people have loved. So next up, another book that a lot of people have said great things about, Witch King by Martha Wells. I haven't really read Murderbot. I haven't read it. But you know, everyone just says really good things about Martha Wells. So I think this was another one where I've just like always kind of had it in my periphery. I saw it at the library just on the shelf and I was like, why not? We're gonna pick it up, give it a try. And the last one for my books that I got from the library is Escape by Stephen Fishbach. And I picked this up because I've been really, really excited about it. So Stephen Fishbach, for some of you, the name might sound familiar. He is a former Survivor contestant, and he wrote a book that was inspired by reality TV. I believe it's like a thriller-y kind of book. There is a line in the summary about how players and producers alike are scheming for control. And at first, the contestant's goal seems simple, but what begins as a battle for money and fame spirals into something far more dangerous. This is a book meant for me. This is a book written by someone who's been on reality TV and can speak to like some of the experience of what that's like, but also fictionalized and turned into a story in a way that I know that I am excited for. Like I am the exact person that this is meant for. I got interested in this book because I listened to the podcast network, I guess. Rob has a podcast, which covers a lot of reality TV. It's by Rob Cesternino. Some of you might know most recently from The Traitors, but he was also a former survivor. And Stephen Fishbach does podcasts as part of Rob Has Podcast. So they've talked about this book on there. And so I just always had it in the back of my mind that I'm going to for sure read this when it comes out. I saw it at Barnes & Noble's, started reading the first few chapters. I think the first one is like a former reality TV person kind of like has been. And then the next chapter was a producer. That one like, oh boy, like he does not like really shy from just being like, this producer is a piece of shit. So I'm so intrigued by what this book is gonna be, and I'm excited to read it. So those are the books for me, but this video is still going because I figured, you know what would be fun is to also talk about the other books that I've been checking out from the library, just for the sake of completeness, but also because this is like a part of my life now, which is these are the books that we check out for my son. Because I've always loved the library, but I love it even more now that I have a kid. And so my son now is like 19 months? Yeah, 19 months. Oh my God, crazy. And we go to the library right now, kind of like weekly. We have a nice little routine, and I'm excited that he enjoys the library. It's truly like, you know, for me as a library person, I'm like, every time we go in, I'm like, buddy, this is my favorite place to be. And then he runs around and goes crazy, and I'm like, good. But I thought I would just talk about some of the books we've checked out because it's been fun. It's been a little delight to be like, okay, there are a bajillion books in this kids section. Let's see what we're going to read this week. And so for this week, there are basically kind of two main themes. And one of the themes is actually a recurring theme, and the other one's a little more pegged to the current moment. Actually, we're a little bit past it. So first up, the moment that we are now past is Lunar New Year. My husband's family is Chinese, so, you know, we get like excited about Chinese New Year and everything. I mean, not just because of that. It's fun. Lunar New Year is fun to celebrate, but, you know, we wanted to like get some books to kind of to you know, just show him. So the first was Lunar Phases on Chinese New Year. And to be very clear, our picking process was just like, what are the books on the Lunar New Year shelf at the library? Cool, we're gonna pick that. This is about the phases of the moon, which for some reason I did not think. Like, I was reading this book and like starts off with like, hey baby, it's Chinese New Year. And then suddenly it's like, oh, these are oh yeah, here is the Earth orbiting around the sun. I was like, I was not expecting this. I did not expect to be getting into astronomy in this book, but it does that because, again, it is about lunar phases, you know? Then we have just like one of those kind of Lunar New Year touch and feel sort of books. So, you know, just like these fun things where you show him objects and you're like, look at that thing. And he's like been really excited again about like, you know, touching things and scratching things. So this was fun. And then last was Happy Chinese New Year, A Festive Counting Story, which features just the various members of the Chinese zodiac coming in to have a party, which is, you know, very cute. He's really into naming animals. So like you just get a lot of like horse sounds and cow sounds and all of that reading this book to him. So yeah, first half of that part was Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year. Second half is his current obsession, which is trucks. I cannot explain enough how obsessed my son is with trucks. It is an absolute fixation. I don't know how it happened because it did not come from me. I do not care at all about cars, but over the past few months, I have had to learn so much about trucks. I can name so many more construction trucks than I ever thought existed. I have learned about how roads get repaved because he loves trucks. So first up, we have Big Truck Day, which is theoretically like a sweet book about like the library truck. I was talking about this with my husband this morning. I weirdly don't like this book because you don't know from the beginning that it's about a library truck. Like you think it's just about trucks in general, and then suddenly it's about like the bookmobile, and I don't know. The plot twist there was too much for me to handle. Then we have just this Trucks by Byron Barton, where we're just watching, you know, people do truck things. The pictures, they're very appealing to a 19-month-old because, you know, the colors are bright and there's trucks on every page, and that's just what we need. Then we've got Down by the Station, which is also in Spanish. So Down by the Station early in the morning. See the little puffer trains all in a row. So obviously I'm singing it to him. And then they also have the Spanish, but there's some like weird moments in here where like the syllables in the Spanish translation don't quite make sense. And actually like towards the end, I'm pretty sure they added like an extra word because it doesn't work otherwise. Like it doesn't make sense why they added this word here. Like it's too many syllables or too many beats, whatever, for what the line should be. So that is a thing that has also been really frustrating to my husband and me because we're just like, that's not right. That's not the music. That's not what the rhythm should be. And our last book for this is Car, Truck, Jeep, which is a whole book that is to the tune of Baba Black Sheep. It's car, truck, Jeep, have you any fuel? Yes, sir, 3 tanks full. And then like just goes on and on and on. I kind of love this book. My husband disagrees. He doesn't like the like beats and syllables and all that work that's being done in this book. He's wrong. This book is so much fun. I really like to sing it. The only issue for me is that it like doesn't end right. I think there's like... Okay, we're deep in the woods now of what it means to read to a child. But there are these books that do like the, you know, sing this to the tune of Baba Black Sheep. But Baba Black Sheep is also the tune to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And they end, I think, all their books on the wrong stanza. Like they end it like at the part where it's like Baba Black Sheep, have you any fuel? Yes, sir, 3 tanks fuel. And then they end it there, like on that, like, you know, sorry, I just combined Baba Black Sheep in this book. Whatever, my brain, these books really do a number on you. But they end it there and not after the like da 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 da, or they end it there. That's what it is. They do it there, and that's not right because then you have to go back. If you go da 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 da, and then you end, it doesn't feel right? Like you got to do the last da 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 da. So that's my one gripe with this book, but otherwise I love it. It's a lot of fun. So that is my library check-in, and thank you guys for watching. It's so much fun to like sit here and make a video again. I haven't done this in so long. So yeah, I will hopefully get going on one of these again in maybe the next week or two, and we'll see where I'm at with all of these books. So let me know if you've read any of them, what you thought, and if you have any recommendations for books that you think I should read, whether or not they were super hyped. Maybe if there are books that have been super hyped that you think I should give a shot, or you like want me to give a shot, let me know. That doesn't mean that I will give them a shot, but I'm working on branching out and getting back into reading. So I would just kind of love to have some suggestions. So thank you guys for watching, and bye.